Imagine walking along a road and a huge rock blocks your way. You can't go around it and it's too big to climb over. You're going to have to find another way. Ryan Holiday, in his book, The Obstacle is the Way, tells us that obstacles aren't actually the problem. It's our belief that the path won't have any obstacles that's incorrect. The rock was always going to be there. Obstacles are just part of the journey. In life, we're going to come across obstacles, and here are 3 lessons to help us overcome them. Lesson 1 is don't waste time on useless reactions. Things happen to us all the time. We have no control over it, but what we do have control over is how we perceive and how we react to the situation. Thomas Edison had a bunch of buildings where his labs were, and one day a huge forest fire broke out and started to burn a ton of them. As the burnings lit up in different colors, Edison's reaction was pretty surprising. Instead of running around panicking, he told everyone, "Get your kids here. We will never see another fire like this." Things happen to us all the time, and we can either cry about it or just accept it. Whatever we do, it's not going to change whatever's already happened. Edison knew that and didn't waste any time mourning his loss. Instead, he spent the next few months working harder than he ever had, rebuilding his buildings that were burnt down. Lesson number 2, think progress, not perfection. Sometimes we get so involved in passing the obstacle that we forget what we're actually aiming for. If you've seen some of my older videos, you might recall that I used to work at a restaurant. When I first got that job, I lived pretty far away, and it wouldn't make much sense to take public transit because it would take too long. So I decided I had to buy a car. I started looking at different cars and test drove a few. Some had really cool features like heated seats, power windows, and CD changers, and I wanted a sporty looking car, preferably red with power windows and a moonroof. I got so caught up in everything that I forgot the actual reason I was buying the car in the first place. It wasn't supposed to be so that I could win street races, impress girls, or so my friends and I could stick our arms out on the roof. It was so that I didn't have to take public transit to work. A lot of the times we get caught up in all of this stuff that we forget our actual goal. Take time to reassess what your goals are. And remember, it doesn't matter if the cat is black or white, as long as it catches mice. While it might be nice to smash every piece of the rock that's in our way, we only really need to clear enough of it so we can pass through and head on to the next obstacle. And lastly, life is not a race. It's a marathon. There will always be obstacles. I've had an extreme fascination for snakes as a kid. My mom would never let me have a pet snake though, and being 6 years old, I didn't really have much of a say into the matter either. One day, my parents bought me a fish tank and said that I could have fish instead. They were gonna bring me to a pet store for me to pick out a fish, but I didn't want one. I wanted a snake. So the fish tank was basically empty for a long time. This one day, I went to a grocery store with my parents and grandparents, and I saw that they were selling eels. I instantly wanted one because they looked just like a snake. I could easily raise one too, since I already have a fish tank. I cried and cried until my grandmother bought me one. Long story short, the eel didn't even last the week. It was the most traumatic incident I've ever experienced. I was devastated. After that, I thought, okay, if I can handle this, I can handle anything in life. And that wasn't the case. Over the years, I've gone through more tragic events, breakups, loss of family members, but overcoming those losses made me a stronger person. There will always be obstacles. Behind mountains are more mountains. And whenever you pass obstacles, life will throw more at you because it knows that you can take it. It will never get any easier, but you will grow more as a person every time you pass one. To recap, don't waste time on useless reactions. Things will happen to us, and we can either cry about it or we can continue on with our lives. Think progress, not perfection. Remember your end goal and focus on that as opposed to distractions along the way. And lastly, remember that life will continue to throw challenges at you. Solving an obstacle will only bring about more obstacles. Keep that in mind. Keep a steady head. It's not a bad thing. Life is not a race, it's a marathon, and the obstacle is the way. I hope you gained a few insights on life, but most importantly, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed, you can do it by clicking here, because every week my videos get better. So if you enjoyed this video, you will enjoy next week's even more. I'll see you then.